Farmers markets are opening up for the summer, and who doesn't love those little roadside gems? The strawberries fabulous this year, next to tomatoes, corn, peaches, all sitting out in those nice bushel baskets.
It's such a nice, good old days kind of feel to it. Oh, and speaking of the good old days, Jim Duffy, Secrets of the Eastern Shore, wants to tell us a story about a man from Laurel, no, not Jimmy, who you might say was a bit of a basket case. Well, maybe.
No. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, moving on. So you kind of coined him as a basket case, but he also was rather marvelous.
Marvelous with an I, because his name was Joshua Marvel.
Okay.
Born early-ish 1800s.
Okay.
Had an interesting childhood. His father died young. He was in a farming family, 6 kids. And a widow. They all worked the farm. He never went to school, basically. Very little schooling. But at age 20, he got a little restless. Somehow he'd gotten enough money together to hire somebody to do, outside the family, to do all his work on the farm. Got on a ship, sailed around the world as crew on a ship. And then he came back to Laurel, and he settled into a real blue-collar life. He worked in a shipyard for a while. He was a carpenter. He did some things with farm machinery. And he's all the way in his, midlife, late 40s kind of thing. And he gets a bright idea.
What was that?
Well, all of these stories of like unexpected entrepreneurial success, they all have this kind of right place, right time thing. Yeah. So the farm economy in Laurel was all grains, and the reason why is because it was complicated. It's inland, you got to sail down Broad Creek, right, and then you got to sail all the way down the Nanticoke and all the way up the Chesapeake to get to the big city. Yeah. So it was all grains because they'll keep and the produce won't. Oh. But he is got his eye on the fact that railroads are coming in. Okay. And that changes everything. It means that you can get your watermelons and berries and everything else up to the city in time. And he comes up with this basket case of an idea. So he did three things. He makes a basket that is lighter than the baskets that exist, but still relatively sturdy. And he does like a Henry Ford mass production thing. So instead of individuals making the baskets, it's a big production line kind of thing. And the result of that is that they are cheap as dirt, these baskets. Okay. Can beat everybody on price. Starts out small. He's in a little ex-cabinet maker shop and things like that. But in 10 years, he's making 2 million baskets a year. That's 35,000 baskets every day.
Oh my gosh.
He has multiple factories in Laurel. He opens up a factory in Sharptown. And his baskets are going everywhere from up in Maine to down in Texas, all over the country.
Wow.
His baskets are. And there's a guy at the Laurel Historical Society, which everybody should stop in and see if they ever get the chance, because there's some really knowledgeable people there. One of them is Ned Fowler. Okay. And he told me that because these baskets were so cheap, nobody bothered to repair them. So it's like a super early example of our modern day disposable packaging, right? Just throw it away when you're done, pay 2 cents for another one, or 1 cent, or whatever it was.
So how long did this all last, this company?
His son took over after he died, and it lasted nearly a century, up until the 1950s.
Really?
I think it was. Wow. So the other interesting thing about Joshua Marvel that I'd like to mention is that, no education, this blue-collar background, and then he started a business and did very well. So those kind of things can happen today. But what I don't think happens today is he ended up getting elected governor, with no proper schooling and everything like that. Tragically, he died just a couple of months into his term, so he didn't do anything in office. But still, to get elected governor with no education and this blue-collar background, it's kind of cool.
Made a basket.
It's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Jim, another great story. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next Thursday.